EFL TV, proudly brought to you by Ferntree Gully Motor Group.
Yes, hello and welcome to the EFL agenda. We have finals everywhere now. The EFL Choose Tap finals are well and truly underway. Finals in Divisions 1, 2, 3 and 4 for the first time in 2014. We're certainly going to discuss them today. I'm Braden Ingram. Joining me today, Ray Baird's back in the chair. Ray, good afternoon to you, mate.
Good afternoon, Braden. It's great to be here.
I tell you what, the weather for the next week predicted to be great, especially for the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. That's where the key action starts. We'll get to that in a moment, but first of all, we're going to talk about the coaching ranks. There's been a few changes, some coaches on the way out. We'll start with Division 1, Ray, and as we know, Noble Park, John Knight, he went. That hurts them a little bit, especially given he had some good reputation at Knox, but just didn't get the job done at Noble Park, did he?
Yeah, no, obviously they thought it was a time for John to move on. I think there was 2 or 3 games left in the season, and look, Noble Park, they're very disappointed that they didn't play finals. A side that's used to playing finals year in, year out, but look, they'll regroup and they'll be back stronger than ever next year.
Yeah, they're certainly a success-driven club, so you can understand the decision that was made. We look at Lilydale, Brad Hall, maybe just the wrong fit, Ray?
Well, obviously, they didn't have a lot of success. Brad Hall's a great player, a premiership player at Vermont, but, great players don't always make great coaches. And Lilydale, well, they've decided that they would part ways with Brad Hall also a couple of weeks ago.
Dale Bauer, another coach who's gone from East Ringwood. But the one for me that stands out in Division 1 is probably Damien Franken. He started work as a bit of an issue, but he's done a great job with South Croydon, made the finals last year, just missed out this year. He's been impressive, I think.
Yeah, whoever takes his job at South Croydon, they've got huge shoes to fill.
Good time to walk in.
Yeah, it's a good time to walk in, but look, a lot of people sort of criticise South Croydon the way they went this year, but really I give them a plus because, they played finals for the first time in Division 1 last season. They've just missed out this season. A few games could have gone their way, but look, they're going to be stronger than ever next year.
Division 2, when we look at Bayswater, Neil Winterson, he's been asked to reapply. They're an interesting club, Bayswater. We know they do have a decent amount of money, but money doesn't get you premierships all the time, does it, Ray? And that's something they've probably struggled with a little bit. Yeah,
no, Neil Winterson, look, he's worked hard. He's a great player. He's a great guy, and I believe he's a good coach. With a better list, Neil Winterson would be a better coach somewhere else. And look, he's been asked to reapply. He may still get the job, but if he doesn't, Neil will move on and he'll go on to greener pastures. That's for sure.
I've always thought that he's certainly a better player than he is a coach, and that's not a criticism of his coaching style, but I think when you're recruiting for him, you really want to get he's a sensational player. If you can get him for his playing ability more than his coaching, then you're certainly going to do well. So whether they lose him or not, they will certainly miss him if he does go because he is a very good player. The other one in Division 2, Fabian Corelli from East Baird, we know he went mid-year. And then you look on to Division 3. The interesting one here, we know Lee Horsburgh from Churnside also went in the middle of the year, but Scotty Homewood, in the midst of a premiership campaign, huge win on the weekend, which we'll speak about in a second. He's gone at the end of the year.
Yeah, look, I think the timing of Scotty announcing that he wasn't going on next year was good. The players knew before the finals started. Sometimes, there's 2 ways you can look at it. It can spur the players on, or a lot of people say they go the other way. But no, to me, it was the right decision that both parties are happy with the decision. They're playing a final series, and on last weekend's effort, they're likely to go all the way.
Certainly got a good list, and possibly, if they can win this weekend, only 2 games away from a premiership if they can get to the line. So we'll see how they go there. Another one, Dean Burnell, South Belgrave. He got them to a finals campaign. He won the premiership with them last year, got them over the line of the premiership. Got to the finals in 5th this year, but he's now finished.
Look, he's done a terrific job at South Belgrave. He took over mid-season when Nick Cox couldn't continue. Look, I just believe that the only reason he went on the extra year was the fact that they won the premiership, and he stuck with the group. They've gone up a division. They've played finals. Look, you've got to give Dean Burnell ticks in every category. He's done a terrific job.
You can't ask much else, and that's another side where you come in and a coach comes in with plenty of potential, plenty to work with, enough youth to do some interesting things, but also plenty of experience. If you can top up a little bit, Ray, you're in good shape. We'll look at the results at the weekend. It was certainly an intriguing couple of games. First of all, Sylvan upsetting. Well, maybe you can't say upsetting, but Warrandyte were just the favourites. Sylvan got over them in the end by 22 points in an impressive performance from Sylvan. Ray, you and I were both out there. Warrandyte just couldn't seem to fire.
No, well, as you said, Warrandyte were definitely the favourites. They were the form team going into this game. But Sylvan, I liked the way that Sylvan went about it, and it was the premiership quarter. Sylvan kicked 4 goals 4 to Warrandyte's 2 goals 2, and that split the game open. But I liked the game of Chris Murphy, the coach of Sylvan. He played a full forward. He kicked 3 goals himself. He shepherded another 3 through on the line, a very strong body. And then when the game was virtually won, 20 minutes into the last quarter, and they went out to a 3-goal lead, he put himself behind the ball, and he got a lot of the ball, and it was a terrific captain-coach effort.
Great to see, and Sylvan now, they shape up for another game this week. It's going to be interesting to see how they go there. You look at the other game, was the elimination final, effectively, Ray. Park Orchards and Forest Hill. What a tight game. Park Orchards, we were worried about them. You and I thought they might not get over the line due to the fact that they've struggled, their younger players starting to peter out, but I tell you what, they found a final gear there in that second half and held on by 8 points.
Yeah, a lot of people talk about Walker Park being, very small, confined ground, but John Brown found a way to use the wings and had his players running wide, and John Brown said after the game that Walker Park, there is space out there if you use it properly. They come up against their rivals this week in Warrandyte, and that's going to be a cracker of a game out there. I'm going out to have a look at that one.
So last year's grand finalist Forest Hill, they lost in extra time last year. They're out of the finals for this year. Sylvan, they get the week off, and then we've got this week out at Walker Park once again Saturday afternoon. Make sure you get out there. It's Warrandyte and Park Orchard set to be a cracker. Warrandyte need to make up for what was a pretty disappointing performance in the end last week in Park Orchard as well. They've got plenty to prove that they can really take on any team in that top 4. We know they sat at the top of the ladder there at some stage, so there's certainly a chance. We'll see how that go. Ray, Division 3, the other 2 finals on the weekend. On the Saturday, it was Baronia and South Belgrave. Baronia, well, they kicked a pretty big score, 15-7. That's one of their biggest scores of the season. It's surprising to say that, but they're just at the defensive side, but they got out of the blocks. 5 goals to 1 behind in the first quarter really set the tone.
Yeah, as you say, that scoreline was a surprise to me. But look, Baronia, they're a very experienced side. Mark Hardy coaches them fairly well. And look, South Belgrave, look, they would have been confident going into this game because it was 1-1.
And they've been competitive in the loss as well.
Exactly right. But look, Baronia, they knew how to shut them down. The big difference was Baronia kicked 5 goals, 1 to 1 point in the first quarter. I mean, and that's a lot. Once you do that, you're chasing tail all day.
Yeah, it makes it very difficult. The other game, well, wasn't this just pretty amazing? It was reasonably close at 3/4 time. Mitcham were within about, Templestowe were within about 5 or 6 goals. But an amazing 11-goal last quarter from Mitcham. Wow, that was something to behold. The Hogle brothers kicking 11 goals between them, 165 to 70 points, a 95-point thumping. That's amazing. A 95-point thumping between 2 sides who'd been very competitive throughout the year, Ray. That's hard to describe.
Look, Mitcham were awesome. That's the way I put it. They run off the half-back line, and when they get their run, I was talking to Matty Clark after the game, and he said once Mitcham get that run going, you won't catch them. You definitely won't catch them. So what you've got to do is you've got to shut them down. Before the game, some of our commentators were talking about the midfield of Tempe. We're going to, close them down. But the thing with Mitcham, they start their attacks from the half-back line. So, you jump over the midfield, and that's what they're a terrific side. They're going to take some stopping.
I mean, we've spoken about their firepower all year, and it's probably something we've probably over-exaggerated. But when you see that, when you see 24 goals, 21 in a final, you can't really over-exaggerate it, can you?
Yeah, that's right. But look, on the other hand, Templestowe, they had some good players. But, I mean, the Mariani boys, they got a lot of the ball, but they didn't hurt Mitcham. They were just, chipping it around, this short passing. A lot of turnovers by the Templestowe Football Club. Their foot skills have certainly got to improve if they're going to get over the line this week.
Well, they've got a big game. They take on Baronia out at Jubilee Park. That's an elimination final on Saturday afternoon. Whoever loses that, that's their season done and dusted. Templestowe trying not to go out in straight sets, something Baronia is a little bit familiar with, while it's on Sunday, it's the big qualifying finalist place in the Division 3 Grand Final is at stake. It's One Turner South and Mitcham.